Hello everyone, Eric Chappelle, Civil Community Evangelist for Autodesk, and I want to welcome you today to our webcast, Easier Plant Design Collaboration, and What's New in AutoCAD Plant 3D 2018 Update 1. We've got Buddy with us today. He's the star of the show. I'm going to just talk to you for a few minutes about our webcast series and what that's all about for those of you who are new to the series, and then we'll be getting to Buddy's presentation momentarily. Like I said, if you're new to the Product Team Webcast series, we call it the Product Team Webcast series because more often than not, we're hearing from someone from one of our product teams. This has been more civil related, but we're really excited to have a webcast today about plant. We've got a lot of interest. A lot of folks have signed up for this from our typical civil audience, so there's definitely a lot of interest in this topic. But now that you've all signed up and attended a webcast, you'll get on our email list and you'll hear about upcoming webcasts as well as they come up. We try to do this twice a month. We shoot for the first and third Wednesdays of the month, although sometimes holidays and Autodesk University and things like that can get us a little off schedule. And the goal is really to just get information out to you about our products and features that have come out or updates, like is the case with today's webcast, and to also give you a chance to ask questions from our presenters and provide some feedback. I'll give you some details on how that works in just a moment. But generally speaking, we just want to bring you folks, the users of our products, a little closer with those who make the software, so we can understand each other's needs a little better. Our next webcast is entitled What's New in InfraWorks. I can't share a whole lot of details about what's going on with that, but just know that we'll be talking about some new features in InfraWorks. And that'll be on Wednesday, December 20th, same time, noon Eastern. And you'll be receiving information on how to register for that in your email, also on the community site, which I'll tell you more about in a moment, and various social media channels. If you're following InfraWorks or Civil 3D on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, you'll get that information as well. So you can watch for that there. If you've got ideas for future topics for webcasts, please share them in the questions panel of your GoToWebinar interface. You can do that now or at any time during the webcast. we want to present on topics that you guys want to see. So let us know what that is. And we're always building out the schedule for what we want to do. We've been running this series for almost 3 years, and there's never a shortage of topics, I can tell you that. And it's great when we get topic ideas from you folks. I want to let you know about our new Civil Engineering Community Center. This has been out for a couple of months, but it's still pretty new. The URL is civil-community.autodesk.com, and you can think of it like a central hub where we pull in information from all of the sources you see on the list: news stories, the user forums, the gallery where people post projects that they're working on, for other people to comment on and ask questions, tips and tricks, webcasts like this one. All the webcast recordings are posted up here. Product ideas. I don't know if you all know this, but we've got ideas pages for our various products where you can, if you've got an idea on how you want to improve the product, you can post it up there and have other users vote on it and comment on it, and even have the product team interact with you about it. And then, of course, tons of learning material, because we can never get enough of that. The site is unique in that it updates kind of by the minute. Some of the sources are automatic, so it's automatically pulling in new posts from discussion forums. But then there's also some manual stuff that we add as well. So every time you go up there, you're going to see something a little different. You definitely want to check it once a day, because you're going to see tons of new content, definitely daily. In the event that we talk about anything preview or labs or just generally features in the product that we're working on but that haven't been released yet, just know that there's no guarantee that those features will be available until you actually see them in a supported version of the software. And also, don't make any purchasing decisions about anything that you see or that we talk about that is coming up or that we're working on for a future release. Encourage you to ask lots of questions. We've got another expert, Ian Matthew, in the background, who's going to be handling your Plant 3D questions. I myself am not a Plant 3D expert by any means, so I won't be able to help Ian out in this case. Typically, I'm able to put my 2 cents in when we're talking InfraWorks and Civil 3D, but this time I'm going to just enjoy the show and learn as much as I possibly can with the rest of you. So with that, I'm going to turn the stage over to Buddy, and he's going to take us through easier plant design collaboration and what's new in Plant 3D. Buddy, it's all yours. And I'm seeing your screen just fine.
All right, that was going to be my first question, Eric. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So welcome, everyone. My name is Buddy, and I'm a Autodesker along with Eric, and I am a SME for the plant and host of products, if you will, including P&ID. And welcome to our collaboration and what's new webinar today. A little bit about me. I'm a 25-year senior pipe designer / CAD administrator type guy for the Gulf South. I do reside in South Louisiana, and I started using AutoCAD back in 1990 and started into the workforce back in 92. So that's why my hair is starting to turn white, I believe. I've been doing this for so long. I'm also experienced in a variety of things, mostly in plant assignments, but also engineering firms as well. And it's good to be with you guys here today. Here's an overview of our rough agenda. We're going to look at the collaboration tools that are built into Plant 3D. We're going to look at how it works from within Plant to our cloud-based products like BIM 360 Team, and how that interface looks and how it feels, and you'll kind of get a chance to see that. Also, we'll look at some of the new updates for the 2018 version of Plant 3D, such as that support and that collaboration and the improved administration tools. So let's talk about plant design collaboration. Let's start with some of these new trends that are taking place here. And a few these key trends here are driving the need for increased collaboration in the AEC industry. First, BIM adoption worldwide continues to accelerate as owners are realizing the benefits of BIM and the associated project savings that come with it, leading to more BIM mandates and the advancement of new standards across the world. As a result, there is an explosion of data produced with higher fidelity at a greater frequency as design and construction processes come together. Project delivery methods are also more collaborative. There is an increase in collaborative project delivery models such as design build, public-private partnerships, and even integrated project delivery or IPD. All of these models require an increased level of collaboration and communication from all the different disciplines and parties involved, who may sometimes find that they're sharing these risks and the rewards in the same projects. Teams are also becoming more distributed globally, different geos, different time zones, different cities. Firms and talented specialists are all across these areas and time zones and continents as well. And technology is removing these barriers, allowing them to connect in real time. And lastly, with anytime access to the cloud and prevalence of mobile and technology and people as well, their projects are becoming more connected than ever, and data is more accessible and can be delivered faster to anyone needing access to it. But it's still a challenge. The AEC and the plant design projects are incredibly complex and produce an incredible amount of data. Historically, syncing and utilizing all of this data was impossible and has been one of the biggest challenges in the industry. Workflows and data have been disconnected for a long time. Customers have had challenges collaborating across many companies and many disciplines. As projects become more complex, there is a higher frequency of data that is rapidly being iterated. Bad information and data silos across companies lead to massive waste, and that is prevalent in delivering projects. And distributed teams are hurt by these delays in communication, and there's a waste of time searching for the right information in your project. Our current tools are not built for design data. The problem is that none of these tools fully solve the problem for designers because most of them were built for design-based collaboration. Common tools such as FTP, SharePoint sites, or even just a network drive can be expensive, complex, or it could be too simple and easy to manipulate and delete. Network drives serve the need for sharing internally, but as soon as files are to be accessed remotely by an external team member, these tools fall a bit short. There are a couple of more points I wanted to make on that previous slide, but the gist of it is that the more your data is hidden inside some of these internal silos, the more difficult it is for you to share that information across multiple platforms and different people in different geos. So we're starting to see designers adopt some of these more modern tools, such as cloud storage, but it isn't quite the same as what the BIM tools are going to bring to the table. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the BIM 360 side of it here, the Autodesk Project Delivery Platform. Autodesk is developing a project delivery platform to support activities during the design build, the operate phases of the project. These tools are cloud connected and support today's way of working anytime, anywhere. From BIM 360 team and the collaboration for Revit that support the design phases of a project, to BIM 360 docs and field and glue and plan, all the different products that support activities during construction. Autodesk has built a portfolio of tools that span the entire project lifecycle. BIM 360 solutions for collaboration. Let's take a look at what the design collaboration build for the needs of designers and engineers and all project stakeholders looks like. And it's not just about the design files. We know that Autodesk makes DWGs and RVTs and Max and Navisworks file types, and as well as DXFs. But the BIM 360 tool platform accepts many more different file types, such as your Office, like Excels and PowerPoints and Words and PDFs. It also does images like JPEGs and movies. So if you've got video clips from drones, or you've got pictures or laser scan information that you can export to TIFF, all of that can be uploaded into your BIM 360 tool sets, including IFCs and SKPs from other formats. And in all, you're looking at over 65 design file formats and over 100 types of files altogether. That's impressive. So the Autodesk BIM 360 team and Autodesk Plant 3D come together, and they allow you to do this multiple discipline interface, such as engineers, whether they're in project or structural or civil, the project manager himself, pipe designers, mechanical designers, electrical designers can all work together in the same project environment. And at the same time, the stakeholders, such as estimators and the managers and the project owners and other consultants, can all take a look at that data in real time in the cloud. And don't forget, all of this is accessible not only just with your desktop, but with your mobile devices such as tablets and phones as well. That's where we're getting such a large amount of collaboration capability from remote users. Even construction coordinators can walk through the site and look at models on these mobile devices as they're walking through. So there's a lot of technology coming together here. The collaboration with Plant 3D and BIM 360 team, you know, these points here are easy project creation. So we're going to look at how to create projects in the BIM 360 team side, how to collaborate those existing plant projects with those BIM projects and vice versa, and how we add team members. And then give those people roles such as editors or just viewers and those types of roles. So let's take a look. We've got 3 short presentations that we're going to look at here real quick. The first is how to create the project in the BIM team site. The second is the project creation on the Plant 3D side. And the third is the collaboration itself. So we'll take a look at those here in a second. First, we'll go to the BIM 360 team site, and we'll log in with our credentials. Once we've logged in, we'll hit the Create Project button. We'll give it a project name, and if you can see here, you can pick an avatar or you can upload your own images for that avatar. that describe your project. We'll hit the Create Project button. And from here, we can invite other members to access this project interface, or this hub, if you will, on our BIM 360 site. Here we'll define the role, whether it will be editor, and then we'll send the invitation. And that user will get an email saying you've been invited to participate in a project. And from there, now we'll take a look at the Plant 2018 project creation wizard. So we'll create a new project in Plant 3D. We'll give it a specific name. And from here, we can define the location as well as if there's any settings from a previous project we want to include. We'll select the defaults through these, and then we can also look at what our SQL database application will look like. In this case, we'll just pick the light version. And then we'll hit finish. And then from there, once the project is set up, we can add different drawings to our project. Simply right-click on the P&ID section and browse to your P&ID to add. And you'll repeat that process for Plant 3D. So you'll add all of the different project models that you may want to reuse for this project. If you didn't have any, that's fine. You can create new ones. We're just showing you how to do it through an existing set of drawings. So then we'll open up a drawing. We'll go to the collaboration section of the ribbon and hit the Share Project button. Once this is done, it'll pop up a dialog box and you can hit Get Started. It'll find your hubs that you've been either invited to or that you've created. You'll select the project folder that you want it to browse through and hit Upload. So now it's taking this project from your Plant 3D local and it's sharing it up to the team site. And if you look at the flash underneath the progress bar, you'll see that it's loading all of the XMLs and configuration files as well as your pipe specs. Everything is going to the cloud. And it does take just a few seconds here. And now when that's done, you can invite your team to access your new project in the cloud. It'll bring you back to the BIM 360 site. You'll go to your hub and you'll start inviting your users to participate in your project. You'll select your project and hit the invite button. And now lastly, we'll look at how you'll browse for open or existing other collaboration projects. You'll hit the Open Collaboration tool, and you'll browse for the other projects that have also been synced to the BIM 360 team site. So you don't have to just create projects, but you can browse through your project manager all of the different projects that are there. And from here, we can check out a drawing now. It'll copy a local version of that drawing to your hard drive, so any changes can be synced back to the cloud. And other users who have access to the same project will also see that that drawing has been checked out and by whom. Let's see, close that. And now we can sort through the different pipe specs and create models and whatnot. But the big picture here is that once we have this project in the cloud, we can have other users collaborate. What does that mean? That means that they can look at projects like we're going to do here. We're going to go back to the BIM side and we're going to look at this model. Oh, there it is. There's the models. And we'll open up that model in the BIM 360 viewer. And we'll go to that exact same spot that we were looking at in the model. And we'll create a note here for other users or designers in this case to see. So we'll create a little markup here. This is the part of the collaboration side of it that really makes this thing so special and so unique. And we'll tell the designers that the next time they get into the models that we want to make this hand wheel a little bit shorter. And then we'll save. And now we can even assign that information to other users and tag them in it if we knew who was going to do it. And so now this information is stored in the project, and all users will be able to see that interface right here on the right for comments in the models. So if you can imagine, during the course of a project, all of these different comments and iterations could be listed here in your BIM 360 team site. So other users or collaborators in the project can have an open dialogue about the current design state. So what's new in the new 2018 update 1 for plant? Well, let's take a look. First off is the cloud-based improvements, right? So there's more project management tools, the ability to create instant backups and things like that. Our recycle bin in BIM 360. So if something is deleted in the BIM team side, we might be able to recover it if it was an accidental deletion. And then, of course, we can preview the images available without having to download the drawing itself. In the isometric side of it, we've got improved support for offline instruments, and you'll see that here in a minute. The ability to select and deselect all the lines in a PCF export, so we can grab everything in there, or we can unselect all of those as well. We can even now offset an elevation in the Z coordinate, when previously we could only do the X and the Y. And we can look at the status of our isometrics as they're being processed. There's a new interface for that as well. And the spec editor side, we've got the ability for catalog builders import and export support. So the ability to export your catalog and your pipe specs into an Excel is now just a pretty simple few clicks of a button. And we've also got the ability to search in your project manager in Plant 3D as well, and to various fixes. But for the most part, this sums up what you're going to see today. The cloud-based improvements. So you're going to take a look at how we can force undo, check out the project settings. So if someone gets into the project and they need to make an adjustment, and another administrator may have had those project settings open, we'll be able to force undo that checkout and own that checkout status ourselves. And the same thing applies for drawings. So first, we'll take a look at the project's setup. So we'll go to project setup and we'll try to open it. And obviously this is a BIM project and it's been checked out by someone else. So what we can do is we can go into the setup, we can select undo checkout, and another administrator will be able to take back that checkout status. So if there's another employee that's on vacation or sick, the system isn't down waiting for that person to return to work, other administrators can go in and forcibly uncheck that stuff out. And once that's all done, we'll hit the apply and OK button. But this is really kind of a backup plan here for more than one administrator to have access to be able to check in and check things out and make those force recoveries as needed. And we'll hit OK. And if you look here, this is how we can tell what's checked in and what's checked out just based on drawing numbers. As you see here, there's a little lockbox beside in the project manager what's checked in and what's checked out. Obviously, an empty cylinder, an empty circle on the left side of the drawing itself means nothing's checked out, and your tooltip kind of verifies that. So we can forcibly check in and check out items with the BIM 360 team, but we can also force those things back to where the status that we need them to be if there are users who are out of the office. And now we'll look at the isometrics improvements as well. The improved instrument that we talked about earlier, the symbology for isometrics, the progress indicator that we had mentioned earlier, as well as be able to select and unselect line numbers for PCF creation. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So the first thing we'll do is go to production ISO, and we can filter our display lines, but we can also take a look at all of the different ways that we can select and unselect as well. But we can go straight to what we're looking for by typing it in and hit create. And from there, we can look at the progress bar. That gives us the ability to see how many ISOs are being created and if there are any issues of successful running or not, as well as what stage of the completion we're in. Now we can better track our progress as we're creating these things. Now that ISOs are completed, we can look at our isometric drawing tab in our project manager and scroll to 1069 toward the bottom here. Here we go. And we can look at the different isometrics and we can check them out or check them in. We can do lots of moving around, if you will, but here's our isometric with our level gauge on it. And that's the out-of-the-box S keys that have been improved for that feature. And now we'll go to the PCF export, and you'll look at, you can select one at a time if you'd like, or you can right-click and select them all, or right-click and clear them all. That's kind of up to you how you want it to handle that. And in this case, we'll also look at the offset that we spoke about earlier, how we can now offset into the Z coordinate. And now that's an active file. Spec editor improvements, and we're kind of getting close to toward the end here. And spec editor improvements are really about managing your pipe specs and your catalogs, and now we can do that a little bit better through Excel exporting. So here we've got a pipe spec, and we'll select the export data file, and from here we can select a full spec data export, browse to the location we want to place it. In this case, we'll put it on the desktop. And we'll give it a name, and the spec name that we have up there, I think, is PN03. Yep. We'll select the workbook status or the workbook type that we want to use. In this case, is an XLSX, and we'll type in the name of the pipe spec here. I should have picked one that was a little bit easier to type. And we'll hit save and hit OK. And now all of these part families are being exported to Excel. If the spec is really large, this might take a little bit longer than normal, but in this case, it's just a simple spec. So it's relatively quick. And now all of that data will be inside that spreadsheet. And I'll show you that in a second here when it finishes up. I'll just take another second or two. There we go. And now if you look at the bottom here, you'll see that you've got your spec overview, but you've also got your branch table, all your hand wheels for all the different sizes that have been approved. And if we continue to scroll over at the bottom here, you'll see all the different hand wheels, but we've got some more information in here as well. There's all your valves, your check valves and T's and reducing T's and swedges, all the different fittings, elbow lets, socket lets, everything that's part of that piping spec is now part of this spreadsheet. And the same thing works for catalogs as well. So if we're going to export catalogs, we can do the same process, a full catalog report into an Excel spreadsheet. Kind of the same process here. in this case, we'll do the valve catalogs. And the same process. This allows you to make tweaks and edits into your CADs and specs. As you can see toward the bottom there, we'll have another variety of the different catalog categories at the bottom. And now we'll look at the search improvements, and I think this is the last section before we get to questions and answers. And there is a new support feature in the project manager inside of Plant 3D, and that search button can be hidden, so it can be turned off to maximize viewing space of your project manager. So if you look at project manager here, you'll see that there is a search button. You can search a variety of things, whether it's alpha or numeric. We'll just put in 01, and you can see that it's looking for pipe specs as well as drawing names. And we can just turn that search indicator on and off. And that's kind of another really cool feature for very large projects that have hundreds of drawings or lots of specs. You can kind of narrow it down relatively quickly. And so now, Eric, I'll open the floor for questions, and I think Ian is in attendance as well. So I would appreciate any questions you guys may have.
Yeah, Ian, would you mind telling us about some of the questions that you got on the questions panel and what your thoughts are about them?
Sure. So Daryl Dixon asked a question about when you force undo checkout a drawing, do you lose work done by the user that had it checked out originally? And the answer is yes, probably. Just like any other management system, it's going to revert to a previous version to be able to check out. So you have that is the consequence of having a drawing checked out and not properly checked back in.
Yeah, how bad do you want to bring it back in is the question, right?
Well, if you can't get at it, I would say that you need to bring it back in. So I mean, it's not something you're going to do as part of your major workflow. So this is an emergency. You've got some guy had a quit the company and left the drawings checked out. You need to continue work. So that allows you to override it. There's another question here asked about when you open a drawing. The question says, Plant opens each model used in the view with BIM 360. Does it check out each model to make an ortho view? The answer is no, it does not check it out. It will use the latest version that it has, so that requires a certain amount of management. If you're going to create a drawing specifically, I would recommend that you do check it out, but you do not have to do that. Let me see what else we got here. If the SQL Server project, if this is an SQL Server project, does the database go to the cloud as well? No, it actually does not. It's a drawing management, and as you know, when you're working on locally for a collaboration project, you're actually working in SQLite. So the SQL, as the drawing is checked in. Well, I'll rephrase that. You're going to have you're going to have local SQLite versions on your own workstation, which will be updated by all the drawings that you're checking out and accessing. So SQL Server will work with it, but this is at this stage, and I may not be totally accurate here. So SQL Server, you wouldn't need to be able to access the server, and that goes against really our concept of the cloud.
Yeah, I would like to just interject a little bit of that, Ian, as
go ahead, buddy.
If you exclusively use the BIM 360 team collaboration inside of Plant, you really wouldn't need an SQL locally, whether it's the express version or the full version. But if you do use local projects, then you would still need an SQL database to back that up. That would be larger than the light version.
And here's a big hello to Jared Mudford. Got your question here, and as is usual with Jared, it's filled with lots of different complications. So his question is it possible to have a Vault Plant 3D project shared in the cloud? So the main project is mastered and the Vault in the office, but allows external contractors to work on the project. I would say at this stage that's probably beyond the current limitations of the cloud collaboration. The reason why I say that is managing the database with it through the Vault. So, you could probably make it work, and Jared, knowing you probably could. But I think it's I would treat that one with real care.
I expect nothing less from Jared.
That's right. He's probably got a few nasty words to say about you and I, buddy. I'm joking, of course, Jared. You know that. So those are the only questions that I see right now that have been asked. If anybody has any others, feel free to put them down in the Q&A session, and we will answer them as they come in.
Yeah, unfortunately, because of the size of our audience, we can't open the phone lines for questions, but if you have any, please go ahead and type them into the questions panel. Buddy, was there anything more that you were going to present, or does that pretty much wrap it up for you?
That pretty much wraps it up. It wasn't. This isn't a full release. This is really an update with some tweaks and some fixes that you don't see. But in regards to the collaboration side, it really is easy to pick up and put down. For lack of a better way of saying it, it's not very complicated, and it allows you to just kind of continue to use Plant like you normally do, but now the information is shared to multiple geos in a cloud-based platform.
Buddy, I think I would add that one of the great advantages of the BIM 360 approach to collaboration is the fact that really it gives a very low-cost solution to people who want to collaborate across remote offices or bring in their one-man consulting organizations into an organization without having to set up a huge expensive corporate IT infrastructure to
absolutely
allow it. So that's all that infrastructure is all part of the BIM 360 team approach, and so and you don't have to worry about backups. You don't have to worry about where all this is being hosted. I think it just makes it so easy. Essentially, you log in and go.
You're pretty much reducing the need for additional hardware and networking, as well as software like Citrix and Riverbed and things like that to get your duplication, and all that's eliminated.
All right, well, I think I'm going to take this opportunity just to remind everyone of our next webcast. As soon as I can bring that slide up, there it is. So it's What's New in InfraWorks. That's going to be coming up in 2 weeks, Wednesday, December 20th, 12 Eastern. Our presenter will be Sarah Cunningham, who is the product manager for InfraWorks, and she'll be giving us some news about some new features. I want to thank everyone for giving us some time out of their day today. I want to thank Buddy for giving a great presentation, and Ian for being there to answer some questions. Thanks to those who submitted questions. That made our webcast even better with some additional insight and letting us know kind of what you're thinking about. Please visit the Community Center. You'll see information on upcoming webcasts and lots of other stuff there. And we did get a few suggestions on ideas for topics coming up, so appreciate those as well. Everyone have a great day, a great remainder of your week, and we hope to see you on the next webcast. Thanks.